Hey everyone, I recently shown you guys a very old tamarind tree, right? A very old tamarind tree that a friend of mine has. But for today, I'm going to show you guys my tamarind tree. It is pretty old. I would say around between 12 and 15 years old. It could be a lot bigger, but for most of its life, it was under the shade of the guava tree right there to the right. So it kind of was under the canopy for a very long time, and then we started really kind of pruning away the guava tree and letting the tamarind tree take off. See, so it's gotten pretty tall, but before that it was kind of more hovering around that height for quite a bit of time. I'm showing you guys this because this is the first year that it is flowering. So let me try to find a blooms. So there you go, there's the blooms right there. Try to find some more. Let me try to get this to focus. I should have worn some black gloves for this. There we go. So very pretty miniature orchid looking blooms, right? This is a sweet tamarind, so we know exactly where we got the seeds for this. This is a sweet tamarind. So look at it. I hope something sets because there was a lot more blooms earlier. Nothing really set. So we'll see. It'll be pretty cool to have a fruit here and there that sets. But we pretty much use a lot of the cooking for this with the new tender leaves. You know, these new tender leaves. They're nice and kind of nice and sour. So that gets used as like in stews, or like added as a garnishment and like a flavor, like a sour flavoring to things. But this is what you usually eat with. The older leaves, they kind of tend to lose a bit of that acidity, while the younger leaves have a lot of that acidity. So it goes really well in like stews and soups and stuff like that, especially, you know, those dishes that require like a kind of like a sweet, sour, spicy kind of blend to it. A lot of Southeast Asian cuisines has that. So very cool, right? Blooming for the first time this year. And the cool thing is that we know that this is from a sweet tamarind, and the seeds was from, like, you know, if you ever bought a box of dried sweet tamarind, that's where the seed came from. You know, those boxes of dried sweet tamarind that you buy at the grocery stores. Those seeds are amazingly viable, but sometimes very still hard to germinate. So sometimes you get some to germinate, sometimes you don't. They are a bit slower growing in the first. So I was saying they are a bit slowing in the first several years of it, but you know, as long as they don't, you know, die in the winter and stuff, they seem to do all right, you know. So I just don't see many that is productive with lots of fruits or anything like that. Might help maybe to have two different ones. I don't really know, but there are some, you know, pretty decent sized tamarind trees here in California. You know, most people's trees, some of the larger ones I've seen, is usually like this size and height, right? But I'm sure there's some much larger ones out there, like one of my friends, which could be one of the largest in California. I'm not too sure. But yeah, you know, here's that update of mine, and we'll see. I'll update you guys maybe in a couple of years when there is some kind of fruit sets. All right, thanks.